Welcome to the Wealthy Practitioner Podcast. I'm Dr. Nikki Cottis.
I'm Dr. Alejandro Elias.
And I'm Dr. Gabrielle Manto. Together, we help wellness practitioners build profitable, scalable businesses without sacrificing their health, their families, or their freedom.
On this podcast, we'll talk profit, leadership, and ownership, so your business works for you, not the other way around.
This is the Wealthy Practitioner Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Wealthy Practitioner Podcast. My name is Gabrielle, and I'm one of your podcast hosts. And today I want to chat about something really good, because I was reminded on one of the calls I was leading a few weeks ago that the people that are around you and the environment that you are in shapes your standards, right? If you really want to know where your life is headed, look at the people you spend the most time with. I want you to look at the conversations happening around you. I want you to look at what gets normalized in your circle. I want you to look at what gets celebrated in your circle, what gets complained about over and over and over again in your circle, because eventually you become a mirror of that environment. So if the people around you are constantly talking about how hard life is, how expensive everything is, how impossible success feels, your nervous system starts calibrating to that frequency. You stop expecting expansion because survival honestly becomes the baseline. And then we wonder why our energy is so low, why we feel so uninspired, why our business feels heavy, why our bank account never really moves. So your environment is always shaping your standards. It's another thing in business that we also have to audit on a daily, monthly, quarterly basis as well. Also, I'm always in constant awe of our human design and how God designed us, especially when it comes to neurology. So not does this only impact your business, but the neurology actually proves this, right? Biology actually proves this. So I was doing some research, because I typically do research for our practice anyways, just so I can bring just current things and information to our community. And I came along this really cool article, and it was basically that your brain activity actually syncs up with the people around you. So some of the research will use words like brainwave synchronization, which is this really cool phenomenon that our brainwaves actually align with external stimuli. And that shows that when we spend enough time with certain people, our brain begins to mirror their brainwave patterns, so their emotional states and their behaviors. And so I thought that was really cool too, because again, this isn't just some woo-hoo stuff. This is actual neurology. And another thing that I learned in these articles is that your body is also constantly picking up on these invisible messages called chemosignals. And so they are essentially these chemical compounds that release by the body, typically by like sweat, but I guess that happens too. But essentially these are these invisible signals that are released by the body that communicate stress, fear, calmness, joy, anxiety, any type of emotional state. And so your nervous system is always scanning the environment around you for safety or danger. And the people closest to you have a heavy influence in that. So if you are constantly around chaos, complaining, negativity, victim mindset, anxiety, scarcity, audit the people around you. That is a mirror. You are the sum of the most people that you spend your time with. And I'm sure we've all heard that quote before too. And then your nervous system can also begin adapting that as a normal baseline. But the really cool thing is that also the opposite is true too. So when you spend time around people who are grounded, regulated, optimistic, expansive, disciplined, growth-oriented, your nervous system will also start to mirror that as well. So the positive can also happen too. So who are the people around you? Like if you're having a bad day or you're spiraling, are the people around you also just diving in the suck with you? Or are they pulling you out of it and showing you who your truest potential is, who you are supposed to be, reminding you of that, reflecting that back to you? This is why your environment matters so much. And this is why your circle matters so much. Being around people who feel like the future you're creating, that's who the people you should spend the most time with, ultimately. So people around you will either stretch your vision or shrink it. And so this is so interesting, because not to give a shout out to Nikki, because I feel like I'm always shouting her out, but I always mean every shout out I give her. But I was literally praying. I don't have the best track record with my circles, and that is just being vulnerable on a podcast right now. And so I was literally praying. My faith is very meaningful and very strong in my life. Probably the number one thing that I work on, because it is just important to me, whatever. So I was literally praying, like, God, please send me someone in my life that will lift me up, that feels like that abundant friend. And literally he put Nikki Nikki Cottis in my life. And I literally could not be more grateful for that friendship with her, because it, for the first time, felt like easy and normal, and also someone who pulls you out of a spiral and truly reminds you of who you are. And so you need to find your people. And also the reason most people will not do this is because it's very hard and it's awkward. And you think, okay, well, it's just easier to be with these friends, or it's just easier to be around these family members because like, whatever, it's fine. But it actually has a real impact on your nervous system. And everything compounds, right? Every time we're with them, that our energy drains, our decisions, standards, everything, income, everything gets impacted by our relationships. So the whole point of this podcast episode is really for you to audit your circle, make some hard, tough decisions. I want you to ask yourself, who leaves you feeling expanded after you talk to them? Who leaves you feeling drained? Who makes growth feel normal? Who makes you feel guilty for wanting more? That awareness alone literally changes your life. And that is also why getting in rooms with people who expand you and change everything so fast. That is literally rooms and people where your standards rise, really honestly, before your strategies do. So if you're looking for a new environment, if you're looking for a new standard, if you are looking for new people to not only just pull you up to a higher standard, to expand your mindset, expand your goals, and make you literally dream bigger, you absolutely need to join us in San Diego for I'm so freaking excited, for literally the best 2 days in August on 14th and 15th for our TWP tour. You can join literally over 400 other entrepreneurs for live strategy, deep identity work, and the frameworks truly to create generational wealth, lasting impact in your community. And you don't just leave San Diego with a plan, but you leave honestly with just like a new baseline of excellence, a new standard for yourself, your business, your relationship, and what you are willing to accept as enough. So we will include the link to join us below. Bring your friends, tell everyone about it, but we hope to see you there. This is truly the place where your standards get expanded, your circle expands. You get to meet probably some of the best people in, really on the planet too, but especially in chiropractic, even though it's open to all health, wellness, healers, entrepreneurs. But I hope to see you there, and we will see you on the next podcast episode.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Wealthy Practitioner Podcast. If you want to connect with other practitioners just like you, be sure to join our Facebook group at The Wealthy Practitioner, and be sure to follow us on Instagram. See you next week.